Tiger and the Stolen Shoes. It was a bright morning in Pawsville, and the town square was bustling with activity. Shops were open, animals chatted happily, and the scent of fresh-baked bread from Mrs. Squirrel's bakery filled the air. Tiger, the detective terrier, was walking through the square with his best friends, Harry the hamster and Bobby the bunny. The tan-furred Irish terrier with long legs and his signature detective hat always stood out, and today was no exception. "What a beautiful day," Tiger said, sniffing the air. "No mysteries so far. Maybe we'll get to relax for once." Bobby, nibbling on a carrot, chuckled. "Don't jinx it, Tiger. You know something always comes up." Just as the words left Bobby's mouth, Mrs. Squirrel rushed out of her bakery, looking distressed. "Tiger! Oh, Tiger, I need your help." Tiger's ears perked up. "What's wrong, Mrs. Squirrel?" She wrung her paws nervously. "Someone's been stealing shoes from the cobbler's shop. Poor Mr. Beaver doesn't know what to do. He's lost several pairs already, and if this keeps up, he won't have any left to sell." Tiger's tail wagged slightly. "Don't worry, Mrs. Squirrel. We'll get to the bottom of this." He turned to Harry and Bobby. "Let's head to the cobbler's shop." The trio arrived at Mr. Beaver's cobbler shop, a cozy little building with shelves lined with shoes of all shapes and sizes. Mr. Beaver, a hard-working craftsman, greeted them with a worried expression. "Oh, Tiger, thank you for coming. I don't know what's going on. Every morning when I open the shop, a few pairs of shoes are missing. It's like they just vanish." "Have you noticed anything unusual?" Tiger asked, inspecting the shop. Mr. Beaver scratched his head. "Not really. I lock the door every night and there's no sign of a break-in, but sometimes I hear strange noises late at night. I thought it was just the wind." Tiger nodded thoughtfully. "We'll need to investigate. Harry, Bobby, let's look for clues." The three friends searched the shop thoroughly. Bobby checked the shelves, Harry examined the door and windows, and Tiger inspected the floor for tracks. Near the back of the shop, Tiger's keen nose picked up a faint scent. He murmured, following the trail. The scent led to a small open window at the back of the shop. "It looks like someone's been sneaking in through here." Harry pointed to the ground below the window. "Look, paw prints." Tiger examined the prints closely. "These are small and light. Whoever it is must be quick and sneaky." He followed the prints, which led out of the shop and into a nearby alley. The trail continued toward the edge of town, where it disappeared into the tall grass of a meadow. "We'll have to stake out the shop tonight," Tiger said. "If the thief comes back, we'll catch them in the act." That evening, Tiger, Harry, and Bobby hid inside the cobbler's shop. The lights were off, and the room was silent, except for the occasional creak of the floorboards. The trio waited patiently, their eyes on the small window at the back. Hours passed, and just as Bobby was starting to nod off, a faint rustling sound came from outside. Tiger's ears perked up. "Stay quiet," he whispered. The rustling grew louder, and soon a small figure squeezed through the open window. In the dim light, they saw a raccoon with a mischievous glint in its eyes. The raccoon darted toward a shelf and began grabbing shoes, stuffing them into a sack. Tiger leaped out of his hiding spot. "Stop right there," he barked. The raccoon froze, then tried to make a run for it, but Bobby quickly blocked the window. Harry stood on a nearby shelf, holding a flashlight to illuminate the scene. "All right, you've been caught," Tiger said firmly. "Why are you stealing shoes?" The raccoon looked embarrassed. "I'm sorry," he said. "My name's Ricky. I've been collecting shoes to build a cozy bed for the winter. I didn't mean to cause so much trouble." Tiger's expression softened. "You should have asked for help instead of stealing. Pawsville is a kind town. I'm sure someone would have lent you blankets or materials." Ricky nodded. "You're right. I'm sorry for what I've done." The next morning, Tiger returned the stolen shoes to Mr. Beaver, who was overjoyed. Ricky apologized and offered to help around the shop as repayment. Mr. Beaver agreed, and soon Ricky was busy polishing shoes and repairing soles. Mrs. Squirrel baked a batch of cookies to celebrate the solved mystery, and the town square buzzed with excitement. Another mystery solved by Tiger, the detective terrier, Bobby said proudly. Tiger smiled, his tail wagging. It was a team effort, and now Pausville can rest easy knowing the case of the stolen shoes is closed. As the trio walked home, Harry looked up at Tiger. "Do you think we'll ever get a quiet day?" Tiger laughed. "Not in Pausville, and I wouldn't have it any other way.